Tonight we are exploring something gentle and deeply human. Not heartbreak, not dramatic betrayal, not life-changing tragedy, something much smaller. A short reply, a different tone in someone's voice, an invitation you didn't receive, a message that says seen but nothing more. Tiny moments that somehow feel heavier than they should. And if you have ever found yourself lying awake replaying one small interaction over and over, wondering why it still stings, you are not alone. There is a quiet psychology behind why small things sometimes hurt so much, and understanding it can feel like slowly turning down the volume on your thoughts. The first thing to understand is that your brain is not designed to be calm and perfectly logical. It is designed to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, small changes in social behavior could mean survival or danger. A slight shift in someone's expression might have meant rejection from the group, and rejection from the group in ancient times could mean isolation, vulnerability, even death. So your nervous system learned to pay very close attention to small signals. It became highly sensitive to tone, to eye contact, to pauses, to subtle distance. Fast forward to modern life, and that same ancient system is now analyzing text messages and emojis. When someone replies with a short okay instead of their usual warmth, your brain does not calmly say, "They must be busy." It says something changed. Scan for threat. And the scanning begins. Your mind has a kind of built-in magnifying glass. When something feels uncertain, it zooms in. A small comment becomes a large question. A delayed response becomes a story. An awkward moment becomes a replayed scene with high-definition clarity. The interesting part is that the more you try to push it away, the more your mind insists on examining it. Tell yourself not to think about that slightly embarrassing thing you said 3 days ago, and suddenly your brain treats it like required nightly programming. It is not trying to torture you. It is trying to resolve uncertainty. The brain dislikes incomplete information. It would rather invent a story than sit with a question mark. Often the small thing that hurts is not painful because of the event itself, but because of what it represents. A cancelled plan might represent not being a priority. A distracted response might represent not being important. A light joke that feels slightly off might represent not being understood. The pain is rarely about the surface. It is about the meaning underneath. Humans are meaning-making creatures. We do not just experience events, we interpret them. And sometimes our interpretations are influenced more by fear than by fact. It is also worth noticing how these small hurts grow louder at night. During the day, your attention is scattered across tasks, conversations, responsibilities, noise. At night, everything becomes quiet. There are no distractions to compete with your thoughts. In that silence, even small emotional echoes can sound enormous. When you are tired, your brain's emotional centers become more reactive while your logical centers slow down slightly. That means a tiny memory that felt manageable at noon can feel dramatic at midnight. Your mind decides that since you are lying still, this is the perfect opportunity to revisit every mildly uncomfortable social moment of the week. It feels intense, but it is simply your brain processing unresolved emotions in the absence of distraction. Another reason small things hurt is because humans are wired for belonging. Connection is not a luxury for the nervous system, it is a requirement. Feeling included, valued, and understood directly affects how safe we feel. So even subtle signs of possible disconnection can trigger a stress response. If someone's energy shifts slightly, your system may react before you consciously analyze it. That reaction does not mean you are overly sensitive. It means your brain cares deeply about social safety. It is scanning for signs that you are still accepted, still included, still secure in your relationships. Memory also plays a role. Emotional experiences are stored more vividly than neutral ones. If a small moment carries emotional weight, your brain tags it as important and stores it carefully. That awkward sentence you spoke in a meeting might feel permanently recorded in your mind, complete with background music and subtitles. Yet, the fascinating truth is that most people are far more focused on their own small moments than on yours. While you are replaying what you said, they are likely replaying what they said. Each person is the main character in their own internal documentary, analyzing their own tone, their own pauses, their own perceived mistakes. This realization can feel quietly comforting. You are not being observed as closely as your mind suggests. Sometimes small things hurt because they connect to older experiences. If you once felt ignored, then a delayed response today might press on that older bruise. If you were often criticized in the past, a small correction now might feel amplified. The present moment taps into the memory of previous emotions, and your reaction includes both. Your brain is protective. When it recognizes a pattern that resembles past pain, it raises the alarm quickly, even if the current situation is mild. It would rather overreact than underreact. Like an overly cautious security system, it sounds loudly at the slightest signal of possible threat. There is also something gently ironic about being human. We can endure significant stress with surprising strength, yet lose peace over a single short message. A tiny shift in someone's wording can cause hours of internal analysis. And while that may feel frustrating, it reveals something beautiful. The same sensitivity that makes small hurts feel large is the sensitivity that allows small kindnesses to feel powerful. A sincere compliment can brighten your entire day. A thoughtful message can bring warmth that lasts for hours. A small gesture of understanding can create deep relief. The system that magnifies discomfort also magnifies comfort. When a small thing begins to hurt, one of the most helpful responses is simple acknowledgement. Instead of immediately building a story around it, you might gently notice that stung a little. Naming the feeling without exaggerating it prevents the magnifying glass from zooming further. Then you can quietly ask yourself what you are afraid the moment means. Often the fear is larger than the fact. Maybe the real fear is not about the short reply, but about being forgotten. Not about the cancelled plan, but about being unimportant. When you identify the deeper fear, it becomes something you can soothe rather than something you must analyze endlessly. It can also help to zoom out intentionally. Imagine this small moment 1 year from now. Will it carry the same weight? In most cases, it will not. Perspective gently shrinks the image back to its natural size. Your mind zoomed in automatically. You can zoom out deliberately. You can remind yourself that a single interaction does not define your value, your relationships, or your future. It is a moment, not a verdict. Small things sometimes hurt because you care, because you desire connection, because your brain is designed to notice subtle shifts, because past experiences leave gentle fingerprints on present reactions. None of this makes you weak. It makes you human. And there is something profoundly comforting in that. You are responding exactly as a sensitive, social, meaning-making brain is built to respond. As you lie here now, if a small moment is replaying in your mind, you can let it soften. You do not need to solve it tonight. You do not need to dissect every detail. You can allow it to return to its true scale. It may feel large in the quiet of the night, but it is still small. Your mind is simply trying to protect you in the only way it knows how. You can thank it gently for its effort and then allow yourself to rest. Because small things can hurt, yes, but they also pass. And just as small discomforts can echo loudly in silence, small understandings can create deep calm. Tonight, you're allowed to choose the calm.